Hey everyone, I hope you're doing great as always. In this video we have some stories from Mexico and they're pretty crazy, so strap in, pull up a stump, and yeah, let's jump into it. Thank you for watching. So I have some pretty scary stories, but just keep in mind that English is not my native language as I'm Mexican. So I've been a part of the Mexican army for this past 7 years now. Usually it's patrolling and being stationed at bases most of the time. It's not really good, it's pretty shitty to be honest. I tried to apply to a different branch many times, similar to Spec Ops or Special Forces, but it's the shittier version because, it is Mexico after all. So eventually I get accepted and assigned my first mission and new unit. We are tasked to survey an area that was used as a lab to cook hardcore drugs up in the mountains. The place itself had already been raided and dismantled a few years ago, but as always it happens, this seemed to be back as it's a good spot. A small unit of 5 must watch the area and report back if we spot any cartel activity. They always cook late at night, however we must survey the area all night from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. There are 2 locations that need to be watched during these hours: a structure previously used as the lab and the main path they used to get there, both built by cartels. The sergeant stays at the camp recording and reporting activity, and the other 2 survey those 2 areas from 7 to 7. The next day, the other 2 rotate and they survey. So we're on night 4 out of 7 until the next patrol comes, and there's nothing happening at all. Everyone is bored as hell. My expectations for this unit were way too high. I'm surveying the structure mentioned from a safe distance. It's about 2 a.m. and radio checks are every hour. The guy that's surveilling the main path calls in and says that he got something. A guy surveilling asks to change radio channels so they can chat privately. A couple minutes passes and the sergeant says that he is sending in 2 others as backup. I am puzzled and confused and ask why and if we should expect combat. The sergeant says that it's protocol, and I don't recall that protocol, to be honest. As far as I know, we should just watch and report. About an hour or so later, the other guy arrives. I continue their surveillance while he randomly checks the surroundings. The night passes and there is nothing to report. On night 5 out of 7, I'm staying at the camp. On night 6 out of 7, I'm surveying the structure again, late night, around 3 to 4 a.m., and the forest goes dead silent. I hear some noises, whispers, tree leaves breaking. I feel something is watching me. I had better go check it out. I'm up in a tree on a platform installed by the previous team. We use this rope ladder to get up and down. We're not supposed to use our flashlight during the night so we don't reveal our positions. I'm trying to see what it is that's making that noise with just my eyes. I keep hearing whispering and movement, and it increases below. Now I can even distinguish some words, something like, "Perhaps we should," and then some creepy giggling. I am shitting my pants at this point. This is not wildlife. I call out, "I am military and have a gun. I have permission to use lethal force, etc." The voices just laugh in a creepy tone. They are just below the tree, and I think, screw it, I'm using my flashlight. I need to see what I'm dealing with. I point my flashlight down to where the voices should be, and I can see shadows moving really fast away from the light. I keep trying to reach them with the light, and I hear a whistle and a "hey" coming from the opposite side that I'm looking at. I point my flashlight. I see a creepy man smiling at me. He is pale as paper sheet, and he's really tall. His eyes are sunk deep in his sockets. It almost looks like that he had no eyes. As I'm pointing the flashlight from his toes to his head, he just vanishes. The noises just stop completely, but the forest is still silent. I'm so scared I can't even move. I manage to use the radio. I am so jarred that I can barely speak. The sergeant notices it and immediately says, We're on our way. They arrive and help me get to the camp. Surveillance is cancelled. I'm feeling very exhausted, but no way in hell am I sleeping. No one asks what I saw or what happened. They just tell me to rest and that they will be gone from there soon. I am able to get some sleep, finally, at dawn. Night 7 out of 7, I am staying at camp and surveillance is resumed, like nothing happened last night. The next day, the other team arrives at camp and the sergeant talks and exchanges information with the new one. So we leave, we walk for several hours until we reach the pickup location, and then we are transported to the main base. The other guys just talked about the normal shit you talk about, as I'm new and I'm afraid and hesitant to ask about the incident. 6 months later, I get to know 2 guys from the same unit. They were not a part of the same surveillance operation, though. We were at a bar talking, so I tell them what happened and ask their opinion. They don't look surprised at all. They basically explain to me that it is very common in that kind of operations to see weird shit all the time. When the army raids their crops, labs, training camps, houses, etc., they often report similar things. According to them, cartels will pay huge amounts of money to shamans or witches alike to protect their lands from the army, to keep them away, and to know when the army or police are on their ass. I cannot fully believe this, but there is often talked about among the military at this point, and I have heard many similar stories. So another one was that I was patrolling near a beach and watching over tourists. Even the cartel respect the tourists as they buy their drugs, so all was calm and easy, and we can even chill for some time. We received this call. A missing military official with a military vehicle has not reported in. He's not responding and is late. A huge search is deployed where the official went in the surrounding area. It is difficult. There are many ways and there are many roads to look. We later receive a call that he was found by a local and was reported to the police. And even then we still struggle to find the exact place because the whole area is basically like a maze. The military official was found unconscious over the horn. A taxi driver heard the horn and went to check out and see what it was. The whole scene was really suspicious. There was no shooting, no signs of combat, and the official didn't crash. The vehicle was just stationed. And besides that, it took more than 2 hours for someone to actually find him. Even the taxi driver looked somehow off. We suspect the official was drugged or poisoned or something like that, some point earlier in the day. We inquired to the police officers and about this taxi driver that looks anxious, but nothing really comes of it. Only that people avoid taking that road. We did end up being able to question the taxi driver and the police on what took so long for someone to find him, as he was just there in the middle of the road, and there are many roads like it, and all are transited. The taxi driver says that no one goes near there, ever. The place is cursed or some shit like that. The police didn't deny it either. It was just kind of like they avoided talking about it. The military officer is taken to base, and the whole case is dismissed as a health issue. Days after, it's my day off, so I go to downtown to eat some decent food and take a look around. I stop in this restaurant to get something to eat, and I'm small talking with the waitress about work, and I mentioned what happened a couple days ago, and she told me the whole story. There in that road, there is a sideway to a water plant with a pump that's extracting water from a deep well. According to the legend, someone owned that land and built the plant. Somehow the owner made a pact with a demon or the devil or something like that. No one knows what the deal was, but since then the water plant has never stopped pumping water. No one knows how the plant operates as there are no power lines even connected to it, and the whole place is fenced in and closed. Nobody works there, yet you can hear a metallic-like sound all the time. It's supposed to be the water pump working or something like that. Something's pumping water like an old water pump. People started to go missing near the plant. Sometimes they were found dead. She mentioned that whatever's in that plant likes to mess around with people. Many locals and tourists have gone near that plant or road and are attacked, and they later present a form of physical or mental impairment, perfectly healthy people being turned into paraplegics or having some kind of mental impairment. At this point, I'm really interested in the story and want to learn more. I go back to the main base to try and get information about the military official and his status. He's being transferred to the capital for further medical examination. He's fine, but he has facial paralysis, maybe because of a head injury, and he will need therapy. And I think there is no way that this is a coincidence. I tell everything to a buddy, and he agrees to check out the place. A couple of weeks later, we move our day off. We go to the road where this supposed water plant is during the day. So as we're on this road, everything goes silent, and not like a normal silent like when there's a predator around. It's like an off silent. The jungle's always full of sounds. It feels really off, and we decide to continue. We find this side dirt road that goes deep into the jungle. This must be it, we think. We walk it for quite a while, and everything is still quiet, and we hear this constant metallic screeching like old machinery, and we think, oh shit, that's it. We walk a little more, and we see a fence and a structure. The noise is louder now. We just check from a distance, and it seems old. There's no power lines or traces of people being around it for a long time. The jungle will eat anything in just a few days. However, this place hasn't been touched by nature either. By looking around and trying to peek a little, we notice that the metallic sound stops completely. Me and my friend don't say anything. We just look at each other, and this dreadful sensation takes over us, and we just noped out of there as fast as we could. We didn't see anything, but somehow we felt we needed to get out of there for our safety and our lives. We go back to the main base, basically wasting our day off, and we research a little more about the water plant. I find weird stuff, like a water company owning that plant, and it's the only plant they own. The owner should be well over 80 years old. All in all, we didn't dare go back there again. And the last one I have for you, in case anyone's interested. In 2017, a huge earthquake hits the country. Several buildings collapse completely or partially, and there are people trapped in some. We are deployed to help in a SAR, search and rescue, of trapped people. All from the start, the whole population was providing help and tried to rescue people that were trapped. And although this may seem very positive, it was actually quite harmful, because trying to rescue without proper knowledge, moving debris up and down, caused some buildings to collapse again, and for trapped people to be crushed. On the second day of the SAR operation, we bring in heavy machinery, as there are tons of debris to be moved, and at some point it will be used to clean the whole collapsed buildings, until all chances of rescuing people have been exhausted. Now obviously people distrust the government and think we will use the heavy machinery where people might be trapped and things escalate. Some people try to revolt, and some soldiers are even attacked despite trying to explain, and they just don't listen. We don't let them trespass, as they can cause the buildings to collapse again, and the noise that they often make can prevent the search and rescue to hear people that might still be alive. These people that try and do this are basically stupid. So, I see this old lady in the restricted area near a building that's partially collapsed. She seems disoriented and confused, sad and worried at the same time. I think this is someone whose family is still missing or trapped, and I get to her. I'm genuinely nice to her, and I tell her that she can't be here softly, that she can get hurt or worse. She must have managed to get in when people were arguing and revolting outside the restricted area. I'm walking her out when she starts to weep. The moment I touch her shoulder and try to comfort her, a sensation of sadness and sorrow takes over me. A couple of tears fall from my eyes. I think the whole situation is very emotional. She didn't say anything, so I just helped her walk out of the area. I asked if there is someone that can take care of her. She just walks out into the crowd. Days later, the body of an old woman is found in the building that I saw this lady near days ago. She died trying to protect her toddler grandson, but both of them were crushed. Most of the bodies found were similar to those, and I happened to be there when the body is being taken out and the debris is being cleaned up. It's the same old lady, and I just feel awful for walking her out of the area like that. So, what did you think of those stories? I thought they were all pretty crazy myself. The last one was sad, to be honest. But anyways, let me know what you thought in the comments. Do you think they were real, or do you think they were fake? Somewhere in between. Let me know. And I hope you have a good week and stuff. If you want to donate to the channel, I have a PayPal and a Patreon that'll be listed in the description. And thank you for pulling up a stump, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.